that we're all chasing certainty. And ultimately, the only thing that we're certain of really is that we're going to die one day. I mean, that's the
Right.
reality, right?
Well,
And
certainty leaves
and
no room for faith.
yo,
Hi.
what's up, Steph? Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I just met with a psychic, so I'm feeling high off life.
Wow, as part of this series?
No, I
No. Oh,
sought a psychic out, and we did talk over Zoom, which was interesting. But it was pretty amazing.
was it your first time?
No, I mean I've done a lot of stuff like that and spoken to a lot of like intuits and healers and stuff, but she resonated the most with me.
Okay.
I liked her the best.
And what was your process then of like finding the right psychic for you? How did you?
I had someone recommend her to me just out of nowhere.
Okay.
I actually met another psychic in person the other day. It was the universe wanted me to talk to a psychic. So
Right.
I met her and
What?
you ask 7 questions and she channels your guides and they give you answers.
And do you feel like you got some clarity?
Yes.
Great.
Yes. I feel good. What do you want to talk about?
What about psychics and healers, I guess that's the
Did you have a topic that you wanted to talk about or?
I mean maybe, yeah. I would love to see where the conversation goes. Yes, there is stuff that I can certainly talk about.
Mhm.
But I'm also just curious about this show even and what you're doing with the Reply Guy Roulette series.
Hmm.
What is the purpose of this?
Well, I just think there's so many people who exist on the internet and follow you and
Right. Yeah.
feel compelled to message you, whether it's nice or not nice things. In my case, it is often not nice, but that's okay.
Mm. I'm
Um,
sorry to hear
it doesn't bother me literally at all, you know. I can't imagine anyone who's commenting mean stuff is living a
that.
good life. Um,
Right.
so
Yeah.
this series was just to put a face to the comments and humanize it and uh see what how great good of a conversation can you have in like 10 to 15 minutes.
And have you, in your experience doing this show, have you in or met someone on the show who, in your DMs has not been nice to you?
I did talk to one guy who it's not that he's not nice. I mean, he's like a troll a little bit. Like he definitely
Okay, right.
tries to poke the bear.
Yeah.
But he's not like awful. Like I have people in my DMs who are awful. I haven't had any of those people, I don't think, come on. It's mostly like nice
Right.
people who want to just chat. I have to figure out how to
Okay.
reach the bad ones, the rotten apples.
Well, I mean, first of all, you said that it doesn't bother you at all getting mean comments.
Hmm.
I hear that you say the person who's doing that is living a bad life. I think that's like so true and a very compassionate position to take because it must not be easy if you're getting
Hmm.
people spouting you awful shite like that's. So has it changed your perspective meeting people like this kind of demographic, I guess?
Yeah, because I do think everyone is just starved for human connection and
Right. Yeah.
and people who are trolls online are enacting a wound, so to speak. Like
Mm.
they're trying to elicit a reaction, and the reason you elicit a reaction is because you're yearning for someone to respond, to see you.
Notice me, please.
Yeah, yeah. It's like a
I
little kid
exist.
being like, look, it's like a little kid, you're holding a little kid's head and they're punching you, you know?
Yeah.
And so I have kind of compassion for these people. I don't take their mean comments seriously.
Yeah.
I saw
I
your
feel-
email said holistic something, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you do?
I am actually a holistic therapist. Interestingly, that you
Really?
brought in psychics. Well, this was one of the things I was thinking about talking about actually, which is, this phrase kept coming to me like everything's going to be all right.
Mm,
Now, maybe I was just soothing myself because I'm nervous, going, "What the hell am I doing?" Going
mm.
on this show. I don't know why. Why does one do this kind of thing? But thanks for the opportunity. It's wonderful to be here, by the way.
Of
Um,
course.
I grew up at a time in the 90s when the message that we were given was you're gonna in your 20s you're gonna meet the love of your life, you're
Hmm.
gonna get married, have kids, get some career that's gonna give you a mortgage for a house, and obviously I don't know what it's been like for you, but that hasn't been my experience of the of the
Right.
world.
Right.
And I've spent a lot of my life really worrying about so many things that when you take a step back and look at your life, you're like, things are great. Like
Hmm.
obviously, maybe I have tremendous privilege, I'm sure,
Hmm.
that many people don't have, and it's sort of in some sense easy for me to say that. But it's funny you mentioned when you were talking about the kind of mean reply guys earlier and how they're kind of basically just it's like a little child acting
Hmm.
out. And I think that we're all basically that. Certainly I am. Many just
Right.
little children piled into this adult meat suit. And so many of my feelings that I have, and the feeling I often have is I'm on the brink of catastrophe. I'm spiraling out.
Right.
Everything's going to be over.
Right.
And like what I've learned, I think in sort of more recent history is like there is a way of stopping that story, that like momentum that the mind gets where it's like things are going to go out of control any minute
Right.
and everything's going to be all right. And one example of that for me is like I had the career thing. I was academic for, I did my PhD and I was in academia for a while. And that's what I thought my life was going to be. And at some point, I got super burnt out and
Yeah.
my mental health got really bad. And at the time, I was into holistic therapy stuff. I was really into going to sound baths.
Hmm.
I really enjoy a mindfulness practice called Qigong,
Mm.
and I practice meditation and stuff like that. Um, and I started coming to this retreat center in France called Plum Village. And I don't know what happened, but something shifted where I was like, I need to leave this whole career. I need to stop doing academia.
Yeah.
And I trained to be a Qigong teacher. I trained to be a sound therapist. And I just started doing it.
Hmm.
And like, it's not like it's a big successful career for me yet. I'm still working on it and I'm still, you know, doing the content game, which I'm not very good at, Steph. And I would love to
So
hear how you
hard.
do the content
It's
side
tough.
of things. But everything's fine. And even when things really bad things, I suppose this is my version of everything happens for a reason. I don't like that phrase actually because I feel like things happen for several reasons.
Right.
And really what we're saying to someone when we say everything happens for a reason is we're saying everything happens for your own good.
Hmm.
Which like sometimes just terrible things happen.
Right.
People deal with awful things and it's not necessarily for their good. And it can be awful. I mean,
Yeah.
I've
You
had
have to
to deal
create the
with
good
it.
out of it, I think.
Right. In some sense, we just take a step back and we go, actually, everything's going to be all right.
Hmm.
Just keep breathing, you know?
I have kind of a mantra that I always go back to, which is like, it's okay to not know, but
Mm.
anxiety comes from thinking I don't know, but I should know. It gets that
Right.
added like it should be different. So I resonate with that because I'm often like like I'm scrambling. I'm thinking about my career. I'm thinking about why don't I have this many followers? Why don't I have this? What? And then I really step back and I go, I'm actually really ha like everything is good. And you're right.
Right.
There's definitely a privilege that is overlaying all of this.
Right.
But I do think it's very human to catastrophize and to think that the grass is greener somewhere else, though we don't really know
Right.
what that somewhere else is. And when we get to that
Right.
somewhere else, we go, well, back then, like always think about like for me right now, it's like the normal escalator trajectory is like to get more followers, to sell more tickets, to the like da 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 da, more
Mm.
fame comes from that, right? That's let's say in 5 years that happens. In 5 years, I'm gonna go, it was really nice 5 years ago when I had a
Right.
lot of free time and I didn't
Mm.
know when it was gonna happen and how it was gonna happen, and I could still be anonymous and like it's
Right.
amazing right now for everything that it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of people really don't see. I'm probably more naturally inclined to this type of thinking and spirituality. I was raised with this growing up with
Okay.
my mom is did feng shui and tai chi and uh
Okay.
very into meditation and such. So I see it with my friends who have no experience with mindfulness in any way. And they're just so
Mm.
stressed about I go, what is it that you want? I don't really think you'll ever get it. It's not real.
I think that's so true. And I think that, you know, I say this, I really resonate with what you're saying, and at the same time, I'm so prone to catastrophizing and getting
Hmm.
caught up in these stories and everything else. But I really have to believe that the conditions of happiness are something that's available in every moment, right? That
Yeah.
like it's actually such a wonder to be able to breathe clean air and to be able
Right.
to see beautiful flowers and to be able
Right.
to connect with people around you, but also then, strangers halfway across the world, and to be able to eat food, which some people don't have that privilege right now in parts of the world, right? But these are all the things that they're so wonderful and so full of magic, really. Um, but we get so caught up with these stories around like what we want to be doing in the future or what will happen to us in the past and stuff that we kind of miss these everyday wonders, you
Right.
know? And so sometimes I think in the spiritual communities, even we get a little bit too caught up with like chasing sort of peak experiences
Right.
and chasing certainty, right? So it's either peak experiences in the sense of let's go take a load of ayahuasca and see
Right.
the nature of the world. No shade on that, right? Great, but I really
Still chasing
think
something.
right, and I really think that actually the sort of real meat of the spiritual life is this focus on what's happening right now, on the everyday, on developing gratitude for what we have, on taking care of the difficult feelings that come up in us and those stories that start to inhabit us. And I think you said something like really super profound there when you talked about chasing certainty, that we're all trying to find some kind of solid ground
Right.
to that we of a surety, and ultimately, the only thing that we're certain of really is that we're going to die one day. I mean, that's the
Right.
reality, right?
Well,
And
certainty leaves no room for faith.
right, and I think that like if we can find some way of embracing the uncertainty of things,
Hmm.
and that can connect us with the kind of magic of being that like I don't when it comes to say something like psychics or whatever, like I've been to psychics as well, and but I don't know, in some sense I'm agnostic with it. I'm like I don't know if it works or if it doesn't. I
Right.
know that I've experienced great peace at times and great clarity seeing a psychic, and
Mm.
but there is something kind of mental about being alive and about being a human being, and the fact that like stuff exists at all, and that like
Mhm.
we're here, and like what is this mental dream that we're all in,
Mhm.
and I think that sometimes this kind of the more like I know I've been on this side of things as well, but the kind of dismissal of all that kind of spirituality stuff, and it's so sad because like it gives me space to embrace the magic of things, I think, and the mystery of things.
Yeah.
And I'd say maybe some of the dangers that people in my, certainly like colleagues, I'd say colleagues of mine that are doing holistic therapy stuff, one of the things that maybe the traps that I see them kind of falling into, or certainly something that I don't want to do in my own kind of approach to it, is selling answers, like selling certainty. Like I
Yeah.
know the answers to things. I haven't a clue what's going on. I don't know.
I wouldn't trust anyone who claims to know the answers.
Right.
I
We
think
don't
people
know.
who invite you to ask different questions or to, view a situation from a different lens or
Mm,
who offer you tools to find peace in the uncertainty. Like that's the
right.
gift, that's the magic. But
Yeah.
answers feel foolish to me. And
Yeah.
also, how boring would that be if you just knew
Right.
everything? Then what would be the point of
I have
living?
the answer.
Yeah,
Right.
like, as you said, like the only certainty is death. So once you become certain of everything, like that is a sort of spiritual death, you know? You're just like,
So,
okay, well, I'm done, I
mm,
guess.
yeah.
Um, do you see patients? Like, do you do basically like sessions with people?
Yeah, I do. I wouldn't say they're patients, but I have clients, and I often do that in a group context now with sound baths. So I'll lead sort of sound baths with groups of people. I will do it one-on-one with people as well.
Mm.
Sound baths, qigong as well. I have done it one-on-one, but mainly in groups. Um, and my what I call the name of what I do, new perspective holistics, because the idea is to, open up new perspectives, but again, not have answers, so I'll practice a lot of deep listening with my clients where they'll come at me with a problem or whatever they're going through, and I'll try and listen to what's going on with them. There's something powerful, I think, about just listening deeply.
Yeah.
It's a skill that I really need to develop because, as you probably noticed, I get caught up and start talking forever, so I need to work on that. But
Well, someone
in,
needs to
in,
listen to you too.
this is why I'm here, Steph, right? Listen to me.
Do you follow Joe Dispenza at all?
That name is familiar to me, but no, no.
Okay. He's
I,
he's
I probably follow them online, and
he's
yeah,
interesting. He's written some good books like The Biology of Belief and Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, these kinds of books. But he's very good. He does a lot of guided meditations.
yeah.
But he really breaks down like there is a science to thoughts like there
Mhm.
thoughts have energy and they create your reality and when you start living you can create your new state of being basically and
Mm,
he takes a more scientific approach to looking at brain scans and stuff and but
sure.
then it meshes it with spiritual. I think it's a good way for people to get into spirituality because it's
Mm,
rooted in reality and it's not very woo woo,
right,
um,
right. The algorithms on, I'm fed this stuff all the time because that's the kind of stuff that I'm looking at or
mhm.
putting out myself, and
Yeah, I get a lot of
I'm sure people
tarot
on there
card
somewhere.
readers who are like, your ex-boyfriend's coming back. And I'm like, I claim this. That's my whole algorithm on TikTok. It's just like all like break up tarot card readings.
Oh no. All right, okay, yeah. Yeah, sure. Well, listen, we gotta have something to get us through the nights,
Right? Right.
Um have you always been a comedian, or first of all, do you consider yourself a comedian or a content creator? Or you're doing both?
A comedian, yeah.
Comedian.
I've been doing
And so
stand-up for 10 years pretty much. And then
okay.
had an online presence that whole time, but stand-up and writing is like what I'm pursuing. And then being online is like a burden and a nuisance and depraved.
Yeah,
But
right.
but unfortunately I'm good at it and I do like it at times, but actually something I'm really trying to do is redevelop my relationship with social media because I definitely am addicted. Like it's a
Right.
palpable chemical addiction for sure.
Yeah.
And it's ruining our brains. It's
Yeah.
deteriorating our attention.
Right, right. It
Yeah.
is it is bad, yeah. I'm there with you. I know what it's
Yeah.
like.
It's really
Yeah.
bad. I mean, my screen time is atrocious. I feel
Yeah.
like my phone is the main character in my life. Like it's like
Right,
the
right.
thing I interact with most every day, which is really bad.
Yeah, and you need it for work, right? Because okay, you're a comedian, but then I presume the content creation provides a platform to for you to keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, it's how I sell tickets, right? To my when
Yeah,
I go on tour.
yeah.
And the goal is to get, a big enough audience where because the infrastructure of the industry I work in is devolving. There's not really
Mm,
like there's no money. People aren't, the networks don't have money to give you a TV show to pay for your
mm,
special. So now you can take the route of independently creating, right? And for that, you need an
mm,
audience that's going to follow you
mm,
and support whatever project you do. So that's the
mm.
goal, right? Is to have a big enough audience where if one day I write a book, I know enough people are going to buy that book and I can continue
Right.
making, because my goal, I think, I frame it slightly differently than a lot of people in my industry is just to constantly be in a position where I can create meaningful projects. So I can make a dramatic movie. I could whatever it is that at that moment is speaking through me. I don't really care about industry accolades or awards or
Mm,
the traditional understanding of success. I really don't care for that at all.
right. Yeah.
You
You're
know,
not in it for the money, Steph.
I
You're in
mean,
it
that would
for
be insane to be in comedy for the money.
right,
That would
okay,
be
yeah.
like, it's like maybe less than 1% gets
Yeah.
extremely rich and the rest are very
Right.
poor.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
and I think the second I stopped caring is the second money started flowing and
Right.
it's the second you release your grip on it that it happens.
Wow. Isn't
So
that so interesting though, the power of letting go, right?
it's the only power, I think.
And it's kind of what I'm saying about the like, everything's going to be all right in some sense, right?
Yeah.
That like it's not to say that like there isn't actually catastrophes. I mean, the world is burning all around us, right?
Right.
You know, it's a pretty awful time to be living in.
Hmm.
In some sense, the more we try and control it, the harder it is. And in some sense, like we're going to see, yeah, well, maybe the world continuing to devolve. Not only, obviously,
Right.
you're seeing it in the comedy industry, but it's happening all around the place. And the more that we can just sort of like take our hands off the steering wheel and just go, well, look, I'm here. This is a ride. Like I'm here to see where is it going to take me? Like,
Yeah.
and can I enjoy myself while this happens?
Yeah.
And how do I find
Passenger
little
seat.
moments?
Just sit in the passenger seat. Put
Yeah,
on a good
exactly.
playlist. Someone else's drive. Literally, Jesus take the wheel.
It's
I
so funny stuff. Yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't know
because
what
I
I
mean, I'm not like a religious person, and I mean, I'm sort of consider myself Buddhist, but Buddhist is a kind of
yeah.
non-religious religion in some weird way. I don't have necessarily any strong beliefs in, say, something like a guardian angels,
Hmm.
and at the same time, I just, probably about a year ago now, which kind of led me to moving. I live now in France next to this monastery and this Buddhist community. But what kind of let me do that was just sort of taking my hands off the steering wheel, and I had this sense of like I'm being looked after. Like I felt like I had a guardian angel, and
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true, but I know the belief in it was super helpful, and
Right.
and it made me kind of just let go and say, whatever choice I make in this, I don't have to make the right choice. Actually, I just need to make a choice and do
Yeah.
something. And later on, I'll figure out if it was the right thing or not, or that'll give
There
me
is no,
data to make my
I
decision.
think every choice and decision is neutral. And we like
Right,
think that it's good or bad. And it like there's a core neutrality to everything. So it's like,
right.
I think that's really important is like any decision is better than wallowing in the anxiety or the limbo
Yeah.
because
Yeah, I guess like
it will be the right choice, you know.
right. Yeah, there's a great quote by Kierkegaard, is a philosopher. He says, "Life can only be lived forward and understood in reverse." So
Hmm.
we have to just act and choose, and then later on, it'll make kind of sense about what
Life
was
makes
going
sense
on.
backwards. Yeah.
Right, right. And I was thinking as well about like when we're talking about sort of, I guess, being kids in adult bodies or whatever. But when like a kid falls and hurts themselves, and they might be really upset about it, and kind of crying. Like this is the way that I sort of try to treat some of my own feelings, I guess, is that like, the kid is crying and they're really sad, and they've maybe they're actually bleeding, and we kind of know that sucks for the kid. We also know that in a grand sense they're fine, like
Right.
instead of a wider thing, I think.
Right.
But right now this is a really serious thing. And so we can have on the one hand like compassion for what that child is going through and care for them and be like, it's going to be okay and I'm here for you, which is absolutely how we need to be learning to talk to ourselves.
Right.
And at the same time, have this sense of like, but actually it's okay.
Yeah, it's like there's not that there's everything happens for a reason, but there is like you can create a reason for everything. And like the reason
Mm,
is that it happened, and you can't change the fact that it happened. So when you look
mm,
backwards, you'll go, oh, I understand why that breakup led in the moment was horrific, but it led me to make that choice, which now I'm
mm,
here. And
mm,
there's really no other way to look at it. You can't be like, but what
mm.
if it didn't happen? Then what? You don't know what would, it didn't happen.
But right now I'm breathing and the
Right
flowers are
now I'm
blooming
breathing. It's
and
crazy. I talked to a psychic and then you. Feels like it feels like my Kundalini yoga is working. It's
right, okay, great. Yeah, yeah. Good for
inviting in
you.
all sorts of intuitive messages for me.
Your guardian angel sent me.
I think so. I think so. Yeah, this is great. I mean, I would love to keep talking to you. I have to jump in another one of these. But
Are
thank
you
you
doing
for
them for hours? Are you? You have
yeah,
like
a few I just do a
4 minutes.
few hours, yeah, every time I
Wow.
set it up, which is very erratically.
Good for you.
Yeah, it's funny because I think when I first started doing it, my impulse was like, how do I make this funny? And now I
Yeah.
just whatever it is, I'm just like, okay, that's what we're doing.
That's what it
There's like
was, yeah.
one guy like played me a song and that was that.
Right.
And it also doesn't have to be guys, it could be whoever. But
Well, look, I mean, I know you're on your way out, but just to say that, like, I've really enjoyed seeing some of the series. I haven't seen all the episodes, but I've seen many of them, and I think it's really cool what you're doing. It's nice
you.
to meet sort of people, in your position, talking with somebody who's more in that reply guy place, and yeah, I think that you have a really, lovely energy with how you approach it, and there's understanding, there's compassion there, and there's also a sort of healthy amount of skepticism, and I think all those things together are very
Just a
good. So,
dash of darkness. Yeah.
well, listen, it's important to keep that alive as well. So,
Yeah. Thank you. That really means a lot. I appreciate you. Sign up again.
yeah,
We can keep talking.
sure, yeah, another time.
Nice meeting you. Have a
All
good
right, you too,
day.
Steph. Have a good day.
Bye.